Hello viewers, I'm back with Dishonored and we're going to sleep. Yay. Good morning. Good morning world. What? I can't take out my weapons. What's going on here?
Hello, Jorge.
Hi?
Your life has taken a turn, has it not?
Yes it has,
The
but who are
Empress is
you?
dead. The precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come.
Oh.
For this I have chosen you and drawn you into the void.
Oh yeah?
I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world, great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
That's awesome. Empress? Fallen letter. You cannot save her, 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 you cannot save her. Okay. I get it. You cannot save her. I get it. I cannot save her. What? Wrong button. Get up. Oh god. Emily's letter. Corvo, I am very sad. They say that you're dead like mother. But I'm going to put this note in a bottle and throw it into the river because I do not believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it. Please come here if you can. Oh.
In the days that follow, your trials will be great, Jorge. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name.
Will do.
These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands.
Okay, that's creepy.
With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
Alright, I guess. The equipment you left helps you hear your heartbeats. Once you've collected some runes, open the journal and go to the power section to exchange them for powers. Runes can be collected and used to acquire supernatural powers. I like powers. Okay. Okay. Okay, do I want dark vision or vitality? Well, see in the dark and see living things through walls, including their fields of vision. Health is increased. Yeah. I think I'll go with that one.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. Now I return you to your way, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Oh, I believe you. We're back! Hitting it. Oh, I read that. Inspect your neighbor's faces closely. If there is any sign of blood on the eyelids or cheeks, you must notify one of the city. Why would I have blood on my eyelids or cheeks? What? Where did all this stuff come from? Pick it up. Oh, charm. Oh, charm. Oh, charm. The Journal of Granny Rags? The Journal of Granny Rags. Excerpt from the ramblings of a street denizen. Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen I can see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. The front roads look into the street where the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside. Warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into a dreary alley where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have these bones, to boil them in a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine, fine people. Vera Mori, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young sucklove came to point my portrait, I was nearly still at my prime. Radiant, he said. And he was barely just a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his point, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always home, no. We traveled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles. Beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandesia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, curved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me, make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all for my little mute boy, carved in the name of the one with the black eyes. And after my husband was gone, giving away his birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I'm old and don't have any money to give presents to. Is sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him, you and me in the dreary night with the stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie. Alright, that was a little bit difficult toward the end there. Mythical Wolfhound Artifact. Early life and criminal records. Slackjaw. Excerpt from a series of letters sent by a member of the Bottle Street Gang. You want the chin wag of Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young before he got his name? Oh, he's got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days before he was boss of the Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't a reasonable man. Like most of us who grew up in the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them, born in the brothels or coming from the orphanage, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some get pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hard as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we was free. By the time we weren't little ones anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took down a farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part to play, and decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin, plus none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs with the big with Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. Now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up, running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, where we were all talking at a body show in the theater house, Mike the Fish and his lot were in the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning, and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw. Hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points out the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Working up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks and Slackjaw pays coin for it. A heavy chain covered in hooks. It was for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off at different angles. Slackjaw's got the thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reached the girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face that still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door bellowing like a bloodaxe, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. But when they come together on the street, Slackjaw spins and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hook sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that and using on his left hand. But he was a big guy and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like the baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to the other bosses telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-Eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb. But apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. It seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by Watch while standing in the middle of a meat market, another slipping and falling into the water out cold. One of the older bosses was found in bed with his belly open wide and a Tivian Peter stuffed in his mouth. Still not sure what that one meant. And Shyla Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, officers to the underbosses, telling them that they treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eyed Trish was one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business, real neat-like, calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of coin or drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss, so everyone got quiet, which always makes the boys of the City Watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the Royal Spymaster Snitches, the responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working at his shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep a watchful eye for Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were and what just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers in the watch, too, telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night if you take my beating. And then the plague comes. At first it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick and everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov or Piero. Health elixir or spiritual remedy, they call them. Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still, where we could water the stuff down and sell it discounted. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while there were so many people down with the plague that everyone got scared. Everyone started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. When people can't work, then they don't have the coin for Exler, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall was sliding to the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over and the watch started using all of that new Sokolov technology. Watch towers, tall boys, and them arc pylons. They put a wall of light across Clavering Bowling and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town in a boat bound for Marley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We get as much Exler to fight off the plague as the City Watch with their taxes and rations, and that's kept us alive off our Crowley Bottle Street gang. Reading is difficult. Rumors and sightings, Dodd, expert from an Overseer's Covert Field Report. For over a year now I have lived away from the Abbey, without the company of my Overseer brother, nor the guidance of the blind stars of the oracular order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of cut purses, murderers, and worse, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals with killers. At times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return for coin. My bands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who were not fit to live, executing them justly and using their deaths as a mean of building my reputation. So for this trick has allowed me to make my name among my murderous colleagues without taking the lives of the internet. Hey look, it's innocent, not internet. Hey look, it's Dexter. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin Duad in order to get close to him. Of all of the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none considered the abbey as much as Dodd. It is said that his mother was a witch from one of the archipelagos off of Pandiasan coast, taken captive by pirates adventuring far from those isles. According to the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, which Dodd was still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and crazy watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then, a period of silence followed. Years we now believe he spent traveling the Isle, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning, and in hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers of the forbidden arts. Dodd is even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself, and for a time, before a schism developed, he counted to bring more witches among his allies. All the while, he boned his craft, and it is during that time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin, paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals of Dunwall and other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in a handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop he gestured, and a noble woman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as a new threat of plague is rising in Dunwall, Dodd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come upon a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled mother, she was taking a shortcut through the Taylor's district. In a narrow street, she passed beneath the window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the rotty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment used by miscreants for gambling and trading heberweed. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dodd was kneeling before the shrine, muttered to an unseen spirit as if in an argument. He took a carving, made of pale bone, from the altar before him, and all the lights went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mice, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt Dodd is an agent of the outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath and the great purpose of my life. Until Dodd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way towards him, depraved. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer's mask again until Dodd breathes no more. Reading this much makes my throat die. Which, being a singer and all, I should be used to, but still, come on. Field survey notes the royal spy. Oh, come on, this is another long one, right? Oh, God. Oh, God. Excerpt from the personal memoirs of Hiram Burroughs, dated several years earlier. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activity in the distillery district, but more slowly than I expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning, I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flagged in public and set beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard will be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors move among us. But I know they do. They must. No, Jessamine would rather spend her time with the royal protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by a courier? It will not. There are many threats around us, threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instructions from the finest tutors known in the Isles. Yet her mother spoils her, and she spends most of her time locked in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with wooden sticks. The girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent as play is a moment wasted. Sharing up security for the main gate leading into Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in the day, Emperor Caldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely. But the Empress won't hear of it. The water lock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person's going to slip in and we'll suffer for it. Mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting head of the state. He sounds like a dictator. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he's vain, and therefore keen to see his invention deployed in any fashion. His wall of light he's been tinkering with as promised. In any case, at least, I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the watch. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things clamber over the walls and fill themselves on our flesh? This is what I see in the dreams several days each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I have been working too hard. Dinner and an evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps someone nice in the estate district. Hiram Burroughs, Royal Spy Master.
Should I clear space for Simon?
If you like, but he won't use it.
Why?
He can't sleep in regular beds anymore. That's what he says. Says he was in the Navy too long. Can you believe it?
Oh,
That pile of wood out there? It's a hovel he built from an old rowboat. Where does Admiral Havelock find these people, I wonder?
Alright, so I think I'm going to end this episode here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more episodes of this. This was another fun one to record, but that was a lot of reading. And not to mention that all these 3 episodes have been recorded in one day, so I've been reading, like, for hours. Well, not hours, but you know what I mean. Just, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed.